Thunderball was the highest-grossing Bond film at the time of its release in 1965, and by a considerable margin. It was released at the height of Bond mania and is certainly a fan favourite. You Only Live Twice was released 2 years later and features Donald Pleasance in his one-time appearance as Ernst Stavro Blofeld. So which of these classic 60s Connery Bond films is best? Sean Connery is fantastic once again as James Bond in his 4th outing. By this stage, he has eased comfortably into the role. It's not his finest performance, however. I think that his best performance as Bond came in at Goldfinger. Here, things have slightly worn off. Emilio Largo remains one of the most iconic Bond villains, although Facili's performance, with dubbing by Roberto Risi, makes for a fairly great villain. However, this is certainly an aspect of Thunderball which looks great through the lens of nostalgia. I am not nostalgic for Thunderball, so I can see past such things here. Largo is a decent villain, but quite overrated. Domino was one of the highlights of Thunderball, and certainly a contender for Best Bond Girl at this stage of the series. Claudine Auger had a great chemistry with Connery, and it's the scenes with Domino and Bond that are amongst the very best in the film. Fiona Volpe, as played by Luciana Polzi, made for a great foil for Bond. Rick Van Nutter was fairly entertaining as Felix Leiter, though he's certainly not a crucial part of Thunderball, and his scenes aren't all that memorable. Now, one of the highlights of all of Bond, not just Thunderball, is the inclusion of Blofeld. Blofeld had previously appeared in From Russia with Love, and here, Spectre's head honcho returns once again, but in a far more memorable scene. The Caird Adams set for the Spectre meeting room was simply fantastic, and the scene itself was practically perfect. Anthony Dawson and Eric Pullman both made Blofeld a chillingly effective screen presence, all without seeing his face. Thunderball may not be to everyone's taste, but this scene is truly why Bond is made for the big screen. You Only Live Twice is an equally iconic Bond film, so how does it compare to Thunderball? Well, unfortunately, Connery's performance isn't up to the standards previously set. For much of the first hour, Connery looks bored and disinterested. However, Connery does begin to return to something resembling his previous performances in the 3rd act. The Bond girls in You Only Live Twice aren't as good as the ones in Thunderball, quite frankly, with the possible exception of Helga Brandt, one of the more memorable femme fatales in the series. The locations in Thunderball were good, but the locations in Twice are in another league. Ken Adam once again knocked out of the park with the sensational set designs, especially the Spectre Volcano base. It is classic Bond imagery, and the imagery is seared into our minds. Tiger Sinaka was one of the great screen presences in the film. His character wasn't overused or underused, the balance was struck very well. Charles Gray's brief turn as Henderson was equally memorable. Gray had a great presence in his brief screen time and is one of Bond's best allies in the entire series. One of the issues I have with Thunderball is, to a degree, everything is starting to feel a bit tired. It was the 4th Bond film since 1962. With You Only Live Twice, the extra year off has greatly improved the quality. There seems as if there's a renewed energy behind the scenes, and that carries on for some time. Donald Pleasance was great as Blofeld. His performance is much more camp than people may remember, and while his screen time is less than I would like, I'm glad that Pleasance left the audience wanting more of his Blofeld. His Blofeld very much suited this film. I can't imagine Pleasance fitting in against Lazenby's Bond. He certainly would have to play it very differently. Thunderball or You Only Live Twice. You Only Live Twice benefited from the extra year off and has a more engaging story, even if it lags in the middle. Thunderball invokes more classic Bond isms, and Connery is certainly more enthusiastic. Ultimately, Thunderball isn't just a Bond film I've ever really been able to get into. Which of these two 60s Bond outings do you prefer? Comment below, and thanks for watching.